Bezat Hashem, B'shat Tova Mitzlachat. Today we're getting back to Limud Torah Kedusha in Sefer Musar from Yirat HaShem Rav Moshe Amber. So he says something beautiful today. Today is the 23rd of the month of Mar Cheshvan, first Sunday, the first day of the week of Parshat Shabbat Toldot. Bezat Hashem Hayom Mukdash. Today's Limud is going to be Mukdash Nishmat Lo Malkiel Ben Michael. Baruch Hashem Tadam B'Gan Eden. וגם כל הרפואה שלהם על כל חולה בישראל. So B'ezrat Hashem, the rabbi says like this. There's three things that a person has to think of. One of them is like this. האדם אם בחייו שמר שבת וראש חודש, ימים טובים. If a person was meticulous to observe the ימים טובים, שבתות, and ראש חודש, so he says, אז גם במותו יש לו מנוחה בימים האלו. A person on these days in עולם הבא will also have enjoyment. As we said earlier today, last week if you remember, that because special thing that the people that have the connection of your side, they do askara lelu nishmat of their parents. Since they did it, now they obviously they give pleasure to their parents. Now when they go, their children will do it. Now they will have pleasure from the thing that the children are doing all the mitzvot. Okay, so that's one thing. One thing is so it's the same thing over here. If you enjoy Shabbat in this world, you'll enjoy Shabbat next world. Bet. Adam, number 2, Adam shelo lamad Torah ve'alach b'drachim hara'im, chas v'shalom. If a person did not learn Torah and he went in the path of evil, achar moto ba'im chamisha malachei habala keneged chamisha chumshei Torah, and the person after his death, who will come to him? 5 angels, and each angel is corresponding to each topasuk in each sefer in the Torah. One against Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, and Devarim. Echad makeh oto, ve'echad moneh et hamakot. So one angel will smite him, give him over the head, and the other one will come. Ve'echad motzi migufo esh, and one will come out, will make fire from his physical state. Ve'echad mevi asavim ra'im u'machilo ve'omer lo. One will come with the poison vegetations and will feed him and tell him, Kemo shegazalta ve'chamasta ve'achalta. Just like in this world, you were stealing and you were evil and you were consuming everything. And another angel brings his parents and gives them punishment and tells them, look what growth you made in this world. לא מספיק להם מהייסורים שלהם, אלא עוד גם לראות ולהתייסר במסורי ביניהם. It's not enough that they were suffering from their own things. They actually see the results of their children and they get punished for their behavior of the child as well. לכן אמרו במדרש, therefore the sages tell us in the midrash, אדם שרואה את אלו הצרות והייסורים, a person who sees all the suffering, ידע ויזהר לייסר את בניו במוסר ויראת השם. A person should be meticulous to punish his children and to give them musar and to tell them to correct their ways. HaShem itbarach kol ma sheyesh bekocho v'yoter mekocho. A person should go out of his way and train his children to behave properly. V'zeu she'ahav HaShem itbarach le'Avraham Avinu alav hashalom. Then that's what it says over there. Hashem loved Avraham Avinu for that. What? Sheneimar ki yadativ leman asher yitzaveh et banav. It says over there that Avraham Avinu was praised for the fact that he will praise, he will force his children, he will commend his children, that they should keep in the ways of Hashem. Not to be like in this generation. I don't know what's going on in this generation. This generation is you should be soft to the children. Of course you should be soft. But again, it all depends, and everything will have to be done with a measure. And obviously you have to talk to Chacham how to approach. As we learned yesterday. We learned yesterday the most vile problem in this generation, that everybody is taught, don't force your children anything. And what happens? There is a big problem that happens to that. Why? Because when you enforce your children, you show them what's important to you. For instance, yesterday we said that there's 2 types of fathers. There's a father who is Sheli Bele himself. So when he's Sheli Bele and he's trying to force his children, what happens? He actually gets a negative result. Because in that instance, when you're forcing your children, when you yourself Sheli Bele, who needs you? That is wrong, and that's what Ma'alei Musar are telling you. Here, be very careful, because if you're going to try to force your child, he's going to rebel because he's going to say you're a faker. But in reality, where did we fail in this generation? That everybody's asking famous question. I don't understand. We see Talmidei Chachamim, we see the big rabbis, big Roshei Yeshivot, their children going against Torah. What's happening? What happened there is they took someone were along the line, they came this kind of craziness. Don't force your children, right? So what happened? It actually had a negative effect. This Talmid Chacham, this father was not even Talmid Chacham, but he's meticulous in Avodat Hashem. He comes to Shiurim, he comes to Daven on time, and he's very careful. When he's not forcing his child, what's happening? The child is actually looking at his father, and he says, you know why my father is very careful? Because his tefillot are important. So when the child sees that his father is not forcing him, what is it happening? The child is saying, oh, that means my tefillot are not important. So he is already automatically minusing himself. But if the father who is meticulous, who is careful to be very Yirat Shamayim, and he's doing everything what Hashem wants, therefore the Torah tells him, go force your child. Like we see by Avraham Avinu. What did Hashem say to Avraham Avinu? Avraham Avinu was a righteous person. He did everything perfect. And he commanded his children. He commanded Yitzhak with a stick, with an iron stick. And why he didn't fail? Because he was himself careful. But if he was a faker, yes, it would be a problem. The problem is we took this generation, and we put everybody as a faker. Chas v'shalom. Adarabah. If this Rosh Yeshivas and this Talmidei Chachamim and this righteous people who were careful, they would go with their children and hit them, take a stick and tell them, hello, come to Bet Midrash, come and learn. They would show his children that children's behavior is also important. And we would have less of a problem, according to what we're learning right now, less a problem with the children. Not telling everybody it's akol fefker, meaning showing them it's not important. You know, Adam, האם יהיה לו ייסורים בחייו כייסורים של איוב? A person on another side, as you see, let's say a person is suffering. He is suffering like Eov. Rachmana litzlan, Eov went through a lot of hell. Eno ketipa min hayam neged tza'ar yom hamita. The understanding is that the day of death, leaving this world, is even worse of all the suffering of Eov. V'kol tza'ar yom hamita eno ketipa min hayam neged yisurei olam haba. You have to understand. You understand what's going on? Eov went through hell. He lost all his children in one day. He lost his everything, right? And he went through suffering. This suffering is not even close to the day of death. The death of suffering, the day of the death, is not even close to the suffering of 1 second in Olam Haba. שנותנים כוח ברשעים לסובלם, והפסוק אומר, and it says over there, like the following, עוברי בעמק הבכה מאין ישתוהו ופרשו חכמינו, that a person who is going through the suffering of the Olam Haba in the next world is so unbearable. ופרשו חכמינו, our sages teach us over there, לשמורידין נחלי דמעה, that נחלי דמעה, that there's so much pain going through that, in that state over there already in Olam Haba, and כן, שהאדם בכוחו בימי אבחרותו. Therefore, a person while he's here, still young, יחשוב שכר עבירה כנגד הפסדה, should understand the punishment, the reward of a sin, how much he's losing, meaning he's enjoying in this world for a few minutes, and then over there, the punishment doesn't have a limit. A person should know Hashem is not going to just forgive him. And the person should be very careful not to just to let it free. Everything is okay. The suffering that a person gets from a sin. And again, why do people sin? Is because they're not concentrating in learning Torah. That causes a blemish in his heart. Let's continue. And the problem in the soul, there is a stain from this misbehavior in this world, and the only way to clear out that stain is through going through suffering. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring, unfortunately, all the things that we forget, all the sins that we do. Rahman al-Litzan, Hashem should have mercy on us and forgive us right away. A person should hear this and hopefully do tshuva instantly. Hashem T'barach Zakenu le'avodo b'lev shalem, and we daven to Hashem that we should be and serve Hashem properly with the full soul, with the desire. Amen. Number 4, and this is where we end. Adam shenifkar b'lo banim, chas v'shalom, a person dies from this world without children. He cries before his death. Omer lo Hashem itbarach. Hashem tells him, Pri tzadik etz chaim velokeach nafshot chacham. A person should not be worried if he is dying without children, because if somebody who is not zoche to have children, he should have learned Torah and pay attention to Torah and constantly be toiling in it. HaTorah ve'amitzvot u'ma'asim tovim hem abanim. A person, as we see from Noach, that what does it say there? Ele toldot Noach. The righteous deeds of a person, that's his children. Baruch Adonai Olam, amen ve'amen.